The arrogant empire. The Krex Empire ruled the galaxy with an iron fist. For 3,000 years, they had conquered every civilization they encountered. Their massive warships cast long shadows over burning worlds. Their soldiers marched through ancient cities, turning great civilizations into mere footnotes in history. No species had ever successfully resisted them. None had even come close. Commander Valkis sat in his command throne aboard the flagship Dominion. His 4 arms tapped rhythmically against the armrests as he reviewed the next target. Earth, a primitive world on the edge of the galaxy. According to their scouts, the humans had barely mastered space travel. They still used chemical rockets. Their ships were crude metal boxes compared to the sleek predators of the Krex fleet. "This will be easier than crushing insects," Valkis muttered, his mandibles clicking with amusement. He turned to his second-in-command, Sub-Commander Threk. "Prepare the invasion force. We'll finish this in 1 solar rotation." Threk bowed his scaled head. "As you command, Supreme One. Though I must ask, why waste resources on such worthless prey?" Valkis leaned forward, his 6 eyes gleaming. "Because every world must learn to fear us, even the insignificant ones." He gestured to the tactical display. "Besides, their planet has valuable minerals. We can strip it bare after we've dealt with the inhabitants." The invasion fleet assembled with terrifying efficiency. 200 warships gathered in formation. Each one carried enough firepower to reduce continents to ash. Battle cruisers, destroyers, and planet crackers moved into position. The pride of the Krex Empire prepared to deliver another crushing blow. As they approached Earth's solar system, something unexpected happened. A small human vessel appeared at the edge of their sensor range. It was tiny compared to their ships, barely larger than a shuttle. Yet it moved with purpose, positioning itself directly in their path. "Should we destroy it?" Threk asked, his claws hovering over the weapon's controls. Valkis waved dismissively. "Let them speak. I enjoy hearing the desperate pleas of the doomed." The human ship transmitted a message. A single figure appeared on their view screen. A human female in a simple uniform. Her expression showed no fear, only calm determination. "Krex vessels, this is Captain Sarah Chen of Earth Defense Force. You are entering restricted space. Turn back immediately or face the consequences." The bridge erupted in laughter. Valkis wiped moisture from his eyes with 2 of his arms. "Consequences? From you. Your entire fleet couldn't scratch our paint." Captain Chen remained composed. "This is your final warning. We know who you are. We've studied your conquests. But Earth is not like the others. Leave now while you still can." Valkis stopped laughing. There was something in her voice. Not fear, not anger, but absolute certainty. It unsettled him for a moment. Then his pride reasserted itself. "Your bravery is amusing, human, but foolish. We have conquered 10,000 worlds. Your pathetic planet will be number 10,001. Chen nodded slowly, as if she had expected this response. "Very well. Remember that you were warned." The transmission ended. "Full speed ahead," Valkis commanded. "I want their cities burning by nightfall." The Krex fleet surged forward, engines blazing. They passed Jupiter, then Mars. Earth grew larger on their screens, a blue jewel hanging in space, soon to be another trophy for the Empire. As they approached Earth's moon, alarms suddenly blared across the fleet. Sensors detected massive energy signatures appearing all around them, but there were no ships, no visible threats, just empty space. "What's happening?" Valkis demanded, gripping his command throne. "Unknown. Supreme One." A technician called out. "Our instruments are. They're showing impossible readings." Then space itself seemed to ripple, like water disturbed by a stone. From these distortions emerged human ships, not the primitive vessels they had expected. These were sleek, angular craft that seemed to absorb light itself. They moved with impossible grace, defying the laws of physics as the Krex understood them. Impossible. Threk gasped. Their technology. It's beyond anything in our database. Valkis felt a cold tendril of fear wrap around his heart. Fire. Fire everything. The Krek's fleet unleashed their weapons. Beams of pure energy lanced through space. Missiles streaked toward their targets. Enough firepower to crack a planet's crust. But the human ships simply weren't there when the weapons arrived. They moved like ghosts, appearing and disappearing at will. And when they returned fire, their weapons were unlike anything the Kreks had ever seen. Not crude explosives or energy beams, but something that seemed to tear at the very fabric of reality. One Krek's destroyer simply ceased to exist. Another turned inside out, its crew screaming as the laws of physics betrayed them. A third aged 10,000 years in seconds, crumbling to dust. Retreat, Valkis screamed, all pretense of command dignity forgotten. Get us out of here. But as they turned to flee, Captain Chen's face appeared on their screens again. Her expression hadn't changed. Still calm, still certain. You were warned, she said simply. And now you'll learn why Earth has remained unconquered. Behind her, through the view screen, Valkis saw something that made his blood freeze. More ships. Hundreds of them, each larger and more terrifying than the last. They emerged from some hidden dimension, filling space with their impossible presence. This is just our orbital defense force, Chen continued. Our training squadron. The real fleet hasn't even been deployed yet. Valkis stared in horror. These were training ships. What monsters had they awakened? As his fleet burned around him, as his empire's might crumbled like sand, Commander Valkis realized they had made a terrible mistake. They hadn't found easy prey. They had kicked a sleeping giant. And now it was waking up. The transmission crackled once more. Chen's voice, steady and cold. Tell your emperor what happened here. Tell him that humanity stands ready. And tell him. She paused, her eyes hardening. That next time, we won't be so merciful. The screen went dark. In the silence that followed, broken only by the sounds of his dying fleet, Valkis understood true fear for the first time in his life. They had come to conquer Earth. Instead, they had unleashed something far more terrifying than anything in their darkest nightmares. And somewhere, in the depths of space, humanity's main fleet waited, silent, patient, ready. The galaxy would never be the same. The first test. News of the failed invasion spread through the Krek's empire like wildfire. Commander Valkis returned with barely a third of his fleet intact. His report sent shockwaves through the imperial court. The unthinkable had happened. The mighty Kreks had been defeated. Emperor Zarkoth refused to believe it. He sat upon his obsidian throne, his massive form radiating barely contained fury. You dare return with tales of defeat. You, who command our finest warriors. Valkis prostrated himself before the throne, all four arms spread in submission. My emperor, I speak only truth. The humans, they possess technology beyond our understanding. What we faced was merely their training force. Lies. Zarkoth's voice thundered through the chamber. No species advances that quickly. Our spies reported primitive rockets and nuclear weapons. Nothing more. They deceived us. Great One, Valkis insisted. Everything we knew was wrong. They wanted us to underestimate them. The Emperor's advisor, Ancient Krelix, stepped forward. His centuries of experience had taught him to recognize truth, even when it was unwelcome. Perhaps we should investigate further before committing more forces. Zarkoth's eyes blazed. No, I will not let this insult stand. Prepare the Grand Armada. We will show these humans the true meaning of power. Across the Empire, the call went out. Every warship, every soldier, every weapon was mobilized. The Grand Armada assembled over the Krek's homeworld. 50,000 ships strong. The largest fleet ever gathered in galactic history. Admiral Draven, the Empire's most decorated commander, took charge. Unlike Valkis, he was methodical and cautious. He studied every detail of the first encounter, analyzing the human tactics and technology. They use some form of dimensional manipulation, he concluded during the strategy meeting. Our weapons can't lock onto them because they phase between realities. Can we counter it? Asked General Corps, commander of ground forces. Draven nodded slowly. I believe so. We'll use quantum disruptors to prevent their phase shifting. Once they're locked in our dimension, they'll be vulnerable. The Grand Armada set course for Earth. This time, they moved carefully, sending scout ships ahead. They established supply lines and fallback positions. Every precaution was taken. As they entered the solar system, they detected no resistance, no ghost ships, no impossible technology, just empty space and silence. Where are they? Kor growled, scanning the tactical displays. Patience, Draven cautioned. They're watching, waiting. The fleet advanced past Neptune, then Uranus. Still nothing. Some officers began to relax, thinking the humans had fled. Others remained tense, remembering Vulcus's warnings. Near Saturn's rings, it began. Space distorted again, but this time the Kreks were ready. Quantum disruptors activated, creating a field that stabilized local space-time. The human ships appeared, but couldn't phase away. Now, Draven commanded. Fire. The battle erupted with unprecedented fury. Krek's weapons found their marks, striking human vessels that could no longer dodge through dimensions. Explosions lit up the darkness. But the humans adapted quickly. Their ships deployed new tactics. Some split into smaller components. Others merged to form larger constructs. They moved in patterns that seemed random but devastated Krek's formations. And their weapons, even without phasing, they were terrifying. Beams that ignored shields, projectiles that turned ships into expanding clouds of plasma, fields that simply erased matter from existence. They're still holding back. Draven realized with growing horror, this is still not their full capability. A massive human dreadnought emerged from behind Titan. It dwarfed even the largest Krek's battleship. Its hull was covered in geometric patterns that hurt the eyes to look at. As it moved, reality seemed to bend around it. The dreadnought fired once, a single pulse of energy that struck the center of the Krek's formation. 20 ships simply vanished, not destroyed, not damaged, just gone, as if they had never existed. Retreat to Jupiter, Draven ordered. Regroup and reassess. But as they fell back, a new message came through. Not from Captain Chen this time, but from someone else. A man with gray hair and eyes that had seen too much war. I am Admiral Marcus Reeves, Earth Strategic Command, he said. You've now faced our defensive fleet. Impressive technology, isn't it? His smile held no warmth. But let me be clear. What you've seen is still just our planetary guard. Outdated ships we keep for training purposes. Draven felt his heart sink. What do you want? Want? Reeves laughed. We want nothing from you. We're simply defending our home. But since you insist on continuing this foolishness, let me show you something. The transmission expanded to show a star chart. Draven recognized it as the local galactic arm. Then points of light began appearing. Hundreds, thousands, each one marked with human fleet signatures. Every species you've conquered, Reeves explained. Every world you've burned. We've been watching, preparing, building alliances with the survivors, training them, arming them. More lights appeared. The map became a constellation of human presence. We could have revealed ourselves centuries ago, Reeves continued. Could have stopped your expansion. But we chose to wait. To let you show the galaxy your true nature. To let others see why you must be stopped. You're bluffing, Draven said, but his voice lacked conviction. Am I? Reeves gestured, and the view shifted to deep space. There, emerging from the darkness between stars, were ships that defied description. City-sized constructs that radiated power beyond measurement. Vessels that seemed to be made of pure energy. Things that might not be ships at all, but something far stranger. This is humanity's true fleet, Reeves said softly. Built in the spaces between galaxies. Crude by those who've transcended what you understand as life. We've had millennia to prepare while you squabbled over planets. The transmission focused on one particular vessel. It resembled a sphere of perfect mirrors, each reflecting impossible geometries. As they watched, it unfolded like a flower, revealing layers upon layers of incomprehensible technology. That is the Prometheus, Reeves said. Our smallest deep space vessel. It carries enough firepower to sterilize a star system. We have thousands like it. Draven's bridge crew had gone silent. Several were openly weeping. Others stared in blank shock. Why? Draven asked finally. Why reveal this now? Because you forced our hand, Reeves replied. We hope you might evolve beyond conquest. That you might join the community of peaceful species. Instead, you've chosen the path of the destroyer. And so, he paused, his expression becoming grave. We offer you one final chance. Return to your empire. Dismantle your military. Free the species you've enslaved. Do this, and we will help you transition to a peaceful society. And if we refuse, Reeves sighed, then we will end you. Not just your fleet, not just your empire, but your entire species. We will erase you so thoroughly that future civilizations will think you were nothing but a myth. The transmission ended. Draven sat in his command chair, feeling the weight of extinction pressing down upon him. Around him, his officers waited for orders. But what orders could he give? How do you fight gods? In the distance, Saturn's rings glittered peacefully. Earth waited beyond, patient and terrible. And somewhere in the dark between galaxies, humanity's true fleet watched. The first test was over. The Kreks had failed. Now came the choice that would determine their survival. The revelation. Emperor Zarkoth listened to Admiral Draven's report with growing disbelief. The imperial throne room, usually filled with the sounds of conquest planning, had fallen into stunned silence. Ministers and generals exchanged fearful glances. You expect me to believe, Zarkoth said slowly, the humans possess fleets capable of destroying entire star systems. That they've been watching us for millennia. Draven remained kneeling. I saw it with my own eyes. Great One. Their technology transcends our understanding of physics. Then we must strike first, General Kor shouted. Launch everything we have. Overwhelm them before they can deploy these mythical fleets. Fool, old Krelix muttered. You would doom us all. Zarkoth raised a hand for silence. His 6 eyes studied Draven carefully. You believe their threats? Yes, my emperor, every word. The throne room erupted in arguments. Some demanded immediate attack. Others counseled surrender. A few suggested negotiation. Through it all, Zarkoth remained silent, his massive form motionless on the obsidian throne. Finally, he spoke. We will call their bluff. Prepare the annihilator. Gasps echoed through the chamber. The annihilator was the Empire's most closely guarded secret. A weapon so terrible that even the Kreks feared to use it. It could crack planets, collapse stars, even tear holes in reality itself. But Great One, Krelix protested, the annihilator has never been tested on this scale. We don't know what. Silence. Zarkoth roared. I will not bow to these humans. If they truly have such power, let them prove it against our ultimate weapon. Within days, the massive construct was brought online. It emerged from its hidden dock, a sphere of dark matter and exotic particles, surrounded by rings of energy that defied conventional physics. The annihilator moved slowly through space, escorted by the remainder of the Grand Armada. As they approached Earth again, human ships appeared. But these were different from before. Smaller, older, almost primitive compared to what Draven had witnessed. You see, Kor laughed. They were bluffing. These are nothing but patrol vessels. The human ships made no aggressive moves. Instead, they formed a corridor, as if inviting the Kreks forward. It's a trap, Draven warned. Or a surrender. Zarkoth countered from his flagship. Proceed. The Annihilator advanced toward Earth. Its power cores hummed with barely contained energy. Reality warped around it, creating visual distortions that made observers nauseous. Then, as they passed Mars, everything changed. Space itself seemed to fold. The stars vanish, replaced by absolute darkness. The only light came from the Krex ships and a strange blue glow that began to surround them. "What's happening?" Zarkoth demanded. "Unknown, Great One," the science officer replied, panic in his voice. "We've been moved. We're no longer in normal space." A voice filled every ship simultaneously. Not through communications channels, but directly in their minds. It was calm, ancient, and carried the weight of eons. "Welcome to the void between," it said. "A pocket dimension where your weapon cannot harm anyone but yourselves." Before them, reality rippled like water. From these ripples emerged a being of pure light. It took a vaguely humanoid shape, but its form constantly shifted, as if it couldn't quite decide what it wanted to be. "I am Ambassador 1, it said, "the first human to transcend physical form. I speak for those who have moved beyond your understanding of existence." Zarkoth found his voice. "Impossible. Humans are flesh and blood." "We were," Ambassador 1 agreed. "But that was long ago. We've had time to evolve. Time you spent conquering and destroying." The being gestured, and images appeared in the void. Ancient Earth, millions of years in the past. Humans discovering fire, building cities, reaching for the stars. "We learned early that the universe was dangerous," Ambassador 1 continued. "So we hid our true nature. We let you see only what we wanted you to see. Primitive rockets, simple weapons, a species barely able to leave its planet." The images changed. Hidden bases throughout the galaxy. Research stations in other dimensions. Humans quietly helping other species, sharing technology, building alliances. "But why?" Draven asked. "Why hide such power?" "Because power corrupts," Ambassador 1 replied. "We've seen it happen to countless species. They gain advanced technology and immediately use it to dominate others. We chose a different path." The being's form shifted, becoming more defined. Now it resembled an elderly human, wise and sad. "We've watched you, Krex. Hoped you might change. That you might see the value in cooperation over conquest. But you've proven incapable of growth." The Annihilator suddenly powered down. Its rings stopped spinning. Its core went dark. "What have you done?" Zarkoth screamed. "Nothing," Ambassador 1 said. "Your weapon simply doesn't function here. Just as your empire doesn't function in a universe moving toward peace." More beings appeared. Dozens, then hundreds. Each one a transcended human, their forms varying from pure energy to impossible geometries. "We are the Ascended," they spoke in unison. "Humanity's children who chose to evolve beyond physical limitations. We guard the galaxy from threats like you." The void around them began to shift. Stars reappeared, but not in familiar patterns. The Krex fleet found itself in an unknown region of space. "Where are we?" Draven asked. "Far from any world you might harm," Ambassador 1 replied. "Your empire believes in might making right. Let us show you true might." Space tore open. Through the rifts came the ships Admiral Reeves had shown them. But seeing them in person was infinitely more terrifying. They weren't just ships. They were mobile realities, each one containing the power of a universe. "This is the Infinite Fleet," Ambassador 1 explained, "built in the spaces between dimensions, crewed by those who have transcended death itself. A single one of these vessels could unmake your entire civilization." The largest ship moved forward. It resembled a crystalline flower, each petal a different reality. As it approached, the Krex felt their minds struggling to comprehend its existence. "I am the Eternity's bloom," the voice announced. "I carry within me the power of 1,000 Big Bangs. Your Annihilator is a child's toy in comparison." Zarkoth's pride finally cracked. "What do you want from us?" "Change," Ambassador 1 said simply. Return to your worlds. Free those you've enslaved. Dismantle your war machine. Learn to coexist. And if we refuse? The transcended beings shared a look that contained entire conversations. Then we will remove you from the equation, Ambassador 1 said. Not through destruction, but through isolation. We will place your entire civilization in a pocket dimension where you can harm no one but yourselves. You will have eternity to evolve, or extinction to embrace. The choice hung in the void like a sword. Zarkoth looked at his fleet, his weapon, his dreams of conquest. Then he looked at the beings before him, gods in all but name, guardians of a peace he had never understood. For the first time in Krek's history, an emperor knelt. We accept your terms, he whispered. Ambassador 1 nodded. Then let the healing begin. The void dissolved. The Kreks found themselves back in normal space, orbiting Earth. But everything had changed. They had glimpsed the truth behind humanity's mask, and they knew their age of conquest was over. The real work of civilization was about to begin.